Hey, this is Trey again. I thought about compiling a group of tips that is based around green juice, different formulas, sort of tips to show how best to store the greens, for example, and how to prep them once you come back from the market. So I just got back from the market, and what you can see there, I've got 2 bundles of flat leaf parsley, 2 cilantros, and I've already put some away, which I'll show you in just a few minutes. But just kind of wanted to show you what you would do with the prep greens, because for people that don't know, it could be just like may appear to be too difficult or time consuming, but it's really not. Once you get a system down, it's really not bad. All right, so the first thing you do when you get some greens is you want to unband them. You usually have a rubber band or a twist tie like this, or a rubber band and something to that effect. So what you want to do is unband it, set it down on like a cutting board or a clean surface, and you want to just sort of hold them upside down and shake them. Any loose little pieces should fall out of there, and then sort of go through them with your hand to make sure that there's nothing in there bad. And then what you would do is you would take it and just cut about an inch off. So you want a fresh cut there, and that's very important to keep your greens healthy as possible while you store them in the refrigerator. So you want to cut about an inch off, give or take. Then once you do that, sort through them again at the bottom and pick out any short ones or bad leaves that are starting to already wilt or biodegrade. And then you're ready. Once you cut that fresh cut, what I found is the pint regular mouth jars or the wide mouth jars work excellent to store these. Now what you want to do, you don't want to put tap water in here. You want to use spring water. Fortunately, there is a freshwater spring within 20 miles of me here, so really blessed to have that. But you can still make structured water from distilled water. I encourage you to look that up. That would be the next best thing to spring water, would be the structured water that you can make from distilled water that you can get actually in the grocery store. But that's very important. Now, keep in mind that this would have a fresh cut. Now, it's very important you want the water at room temperature, because these greens have been stressed. They've been handled, they've been trucked, they've been shipped under store lights. They're stressed. So you want the water at room temperature to give them the best ability to absorb it. And so it's like a mineral shot to them. And that's why you want really good water. And that will help keep them as fresh as possible until you get ready to use them. All right, so I can't do that with 2 hands, and I don't have a GoPro or anything like that yet, and I apologize, it's at the top of my list. But so that's how you would do that. And usually that way you know what you got. And then what you would do is, I can show you. I'm just going to open the refrigerator here. I've just got a kale in here. But you want probably wide mouth for kale because the stems are so bulky. But see, it works great. So that's already cooling off. I actually had that in there yesterday. But here's one of the cilantros that I just did. I went and put that in a wide mouth pint jar. They just work so excellent for that, and plus they have other uses. So, and they're a little bit sturdier than like glass, certain glass, so they function well like this. And so what I did here is I've just put like an old bath towel as just to help stabilize those glass jars. You want a lot of clanking and stuff like that. So this system has worked good for me, and that way you can pull a jar out, set it on the counter, pull what you want out of there. You don't have to pull the whole bundle. You can pull a half a bundle or a third of a bundle, whatever you want. Put it back in there, and it's just going to stay nice. Now, you don't want to leave them in there too long, but at least it keeps them as best as possible to you and fresh as possible, and that water is critical. It just works so good. I've tried this. This is many times I've tried this, so I know I've tried it with and without. And you just buy a bag of greens and stick it in the refrigerator, you're not doing it justice, and it's not going to be as good, and it's going to continue to biodegrade fast. This stops a lot of the biodegrade, and you're preserving a lot of what's still left in the greens. Okay, I promise to bring you more and more tips as I think of them, but and hopefully by then I'll have a GoPro so I can be a little bit more comprehensive. Until then, I'll see you next time. Happy juicing.